Exodus chapter 3, we'll start the reading in verse 1. But before we get into the reading, we really have to understand where we're at historically, okay? Now, this is the story of Moses at the burning bush. Who's heard this story? Come on now. All of us, right? Most of us. Okay, good. But we need to do a little bit of a rewind so that we understand where we're at. Moses was born into slavery. Moses was born following the entrance of Jacob's family, following Joseph into the land of Egypt, where Joseph was in charge of things. But Joseph has passed away. Many years have gone by. Another Pharaoh has come into place, and he began to oppress the Israelites. He began to oppress the Hebrews because they had grown so many, and in fact, the Pharaoh basically had become afraid of them. So he began to oppress them and force them into slave labor, and Moses is born into this. In fact, the time when Moses is born into this, there has been a decree made that all the boys of his age should be murdered. So Moses' mom and sister place baby Moses, into a basket, put him out into a river, and he sets down the river. Who finds him? Pharaoh's daughter. So Moses is born into slavery, but he enters into the palace and is raised as a son of Pharaoh. He's born into slavery, but he's raised in this idea of royalty. Now, he comes to know his true identity as a Hebrew, and it's in this time where he witnesses one of the Egyptian taskmasters abusing one of his fellow Hebrew brothers and ends up killing the man because of it. When he realizes what he has done and the trouble that's probably going to come upon him because of it, he flees. He flees to Midian. And this is where we find Moses. But you need to realize that this is 40 years later. Who here is over 40? Don't raise your hand. I'm turning 40 this year. My entire lifetime, Moses has been in the land of Midian. My entire lifetime, Moses has been tending sheep. Understand that Moses has been reduced to nothingness, where he was born a slave, but he was raised in the palace. He was raised as a son of Pharaoh. He was raised royalty, but he's been reduced to nothingness for 4 decades. He doesn't even own a sheep, a single sheep. The sheep he's tending is his father-in-law's Jethro's sheep. This is Moses' reality. This is his state of mind. You'll see it. And this is where we find him, starting right in chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. Mount Horeb is also known as Mount Sinai. Okay? There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, well, I'm going to go over and check this out. Why is this bush not burning up? See, it's not uncommon to see something out there catch on fire because of the heat and because of the arid climate. But what's unique about this is he's seeing 2 things that don't make any sense to him. He's seeing what appears to be the Lord inside of it, but this bush isn't burning up. It's consumed by fire, but it's not burning up. So he goes over to it. Verse 4, when the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, here I am. Don't come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. And he went on to say, I am the God of your father. I am the God of Abraham. I am the God of Isaac. I'm the God of Jacob. And at this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. And then God says something here that is just absolutely profound, and still for us today is, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Let me read that again so you understand what I'm talking about, this profound thing. The Lord says, I have seen the misery. I have heard the cries. I am concerned about it. And I have come to rescue. What's your circumstances? What's your place in life? What are the things weighing heavy on you? What are the things that you have been going to Father about in prayer? Maybe you would allow Him to speak into your life right now. I see you. I see you. I see what's going on. I see what's taking place. I see it. I hear your cries. I hear your voice. I hear what you are saying. I hear what's in your heart, what's coming out. I hear you. I care. Oh, I care. It matters to me. You matter to me, and what's happening in your life, or no matter how great or small it is, how significant or how insignificant it is, it matters to me. You matter. And I have come. I see you. I hear your cries. I'm concerned. I have come. Verse 9. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me. I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So I go. So I want you to go. I'm sending you, Moses. I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. And then Moses has this response, and I think we understand now that we really revisited what the history is, and we've revisited where Moses is really at, the fact that, yes, he was once royalty, but he's been reduced to nothingness. He owns nothing. I mean, he's just tending sheep out in the desert, and he's been doing that for 40 years. That's plenty of time to lose every bit of self-esteem you've had. Plenty of time to be reduced in your mind to absolute worthlessness. And Moses says, are you kidding? Who am I? Who am I on this planet? Who am I to do this kind of a job, Lord? Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites, an entire nation, out of Egypt? Who am I? I love the fact that God doesn't even answer his question. He totally ignores the question. He basically says, Moses, you don't get it. You don't get it. You have even asked the complete wrong question. I know because I've seen you. I've heard your cries. I care. I've come to rescue. I realize where you're at in your life. I realize that your self-esteem is gone. I know that for 40 years you have been doing this. I realize where this question comes from out of you, Moses, but I'm telling you that it doesn't matter who you think you are. You see, verse 12, I will be with you. That's all that matters. Think about it. Is that not all that matters? The creating, sustaining God of all the universe, who put stars into the universe from his breath, says to Moses, it doesn't matter who you think you are. It really does. It's inconsequential. All that matters is that I am going to be with you. In fact, this will be a sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought, so when this actually comes to pass, when you go there and you bring Israel out, you are going to come back to this mountain and you are going to worship me. Okay? Suppose, this is verse 13, suppose I go to the Israelites and I actually say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. They're going to ask me, well, what is his name? I mean, who is he? What do I tell them? I am the I am. You're to say to them, I am sent you. Okay, now, that's a really curious answer. Because usually when you put the words I am together, you can put a little line underneath and you start throwing in descriptors. I mean, if you're going to describe yourself to me, you will say, I am a man, I am a woman, I am short, I am tall, I am skinny, I am not so skinny, I am young, I am old, I am athletic, I am non-athletic. I am this color, I am that color. I am fun, I'm not so fun. I don't know. Whatever your descriptors are, you could sit there and you could describe yourself to me to a T. But you would fill in those descriptors on that blank line. It's really curious that God's answer to who he is doesn't even attach a blank line to it. He just says, I am. First thing I think of is the word indescribable. We sang about that. You see, we create these words that we try to bring description to God. I mean, he has revealed himself to us through his word. So there are some things that we know about him. But let's be truthful, our words fall absolutely short. I love the word omniscient. Oh man, it sounds like such a profound word. Omniscient. God is omniscient. Well, what does that mean? Okay, so he is all what? Powerful. Go ahead and try to think about how powerful all powerful is. Omniscient doesn't touch it. I mean, it's the best effort we can make to try to describe it. But you go ahead and try to think about what all powerful really looks like. What all powerful really is like. Omnipresent. Such a great word. Omnipresent. But you go ahead and try to really conceive what it's like to be everywhere all the time. Go ahead. And you laugh at the word omnipresent because it just, it's our best effort, but man, you know it falls short. And you realize as you try to bring descriptors to who he is, okay, we know our words fall short. And God knows this, and he's like, he doesn't even put the line there. He just says, I am. And I really think that he throws that in at this moment because he understands where Moses is at. Moses has been reduced to nothingness. Here's Moses. I am not, period. I'm not. I am not.